Good morning and welcome to Jan and Samantha in the Morning. It is a sunny and 75-degree day out here, folks. Looks like no traffic in the I-5 corridor, and everything's coming up daisies as the garden bill has passed this morning in the Senate, meaning every community gets a community garden every 3 blocks. What are you growing this season, Samantha?
Oh my gosh, Jen. Apples, oranges galore, heirloom tomatoes. I can't wait for family-style dinners. You know, I love an eggplant casserole as much as the next gal.
Remember those sweet potato brownies you brought to the spring ball last year? Are we gonna see, or should I say, taste those again?
If there's a demand, absolutely. My new butter yellow KitchenAid arrived last week, so I'll get busy.
All right, that's just fabulous. And we're gonna head over to Gerard for the full weather report. Gerard, I am loving the bedazzled jean jacket.
Oh, me too. Add to cart. I'll have what you're having, Gerard.
There is so much talk of becoming more analog, from buying physical media, getting iPods and Walkmen, to a resurgence of junk journaling and creating analog baskets full of stuff to pull from to keep us offline. And while I think there are multiple driving factors to this universal desire to become more analog, I think one of the biggest is that we are both in this state of collective grieving for a world we thought we knew, and deep in these feelings of nostalgia for a world that no longer exists in this physical reality. I'm a Cancer, and such a nostalgic person in a way that sometimes keeps me stuck. This deep, aching yearning and feeling of homesickness for the past, for a simpler time, for a time in which my surface memory observes as preserved in a perfect, untouched bubble floating in the sun. And as I have mixed feelings about nostalgia, seeing that the past is often viewed through rose-colored glasses, and we must remember that it wasn't all a bubble in the sun, I also can attest to the positive effects of romanticizing the present in a way that is reminiscent of times gone by. Listening to 90s music and dancing in the kitchen and rewatching my favorite y2k rom-coms like Notting Hill and Ever After, and curating a closet and style full of 90s gems. Look what I got. They didn't have any Tori Amos. That's what I went in there for. But this is such a nostalgic artifact. Like this specific CD, being a kid, I was just obsessed. I loved all of them, and this picture with the flies on their nose. I love this. The CD, all of it. Love, love, love. Let's listen.
Oops.
So here's the thing. I was actually put on this planet to dilly-dally. Part of my purpose here is literally to dilly-dally, to take my time walking around different shops, different places, having a little looky-loo, not having to conversate. Like a little bit of, hey, how's it going? Like, how's your day? Like a little bit of banter with the people checking you out at the register, but just a little dilly-dally looky-loo. I was born for it. I was made for it. And not to say, look, like I know we can't just dilly-dally the day away. I'm not a trust fund kid, okay? I think that was maybe my destiny. Somewhere things got a little mixed up. But I'm not a trust fund kid. I don't have daddy's money. So, unfortunately, I can't dilly-dally all day. But there is something to be said about it. Because it changes your energy. If you're someone that likes to do that kind of thing, total energetic shift. And like you can go out and have a looky-loo dilly-dally without buying shit. Personally, that was not my experience today, but it was a thrift shop, so it wasn't like I spent a ton of money. And my plan originally was to go to the record store because I wanted to get Tori Amos CD. I wanted to get Little Earthquakes on CD because I'm really enjoying just listening to that album all the way through. Because there is something about that album, and Tori, I feel so understood by musicians like Tori Amos and Alanis Morissette and Fiona Apple and Jewel. Like there's something with all of them where they're like sensitive, creative, emotional women who have so much depth and contain so many multitudes, and they are incredible writers. And I just feel like understood when I listen to their albums. Anyway, so I went in there. They did not have a Tori Amos CD. They didn't have any Tori. They had one Tori CD that wasn't what I wanted. And they had one Alanis CD that also wasn't the one I wanted. So didn't get what I need there. But I found myself in the thrift store, and I feel often as an introvert, I feel depleted when I spend too much time interacting with people. Like I have a really short window where I can like interact with people. But there are times when I find I spend too much time alone. I isolate myself too much, and that also depletes me in a way. So, I need to remember, I think that's an important part of my life and my energy and the way that I work. I need to remember to take time to dilly-dally and looky-loo on my own, but like in the world. So there's like little interactions, but it's not like a constant stream. Anyway, so yeah, I just found that out about myself, and it's almost kind of like an artist date. Let's look through that Dixie Chick CD because just for fun. That picture. This picture really left an impression on me as a youth. Okay, so during our little nostalgia date, I found myself in the thrift store. I'm a little Pinterest girly, and I was over there I've been doing a lot of pinning on my personal style because I really want, and I'm going to make another video on that specifically, like what's going on with that and like what my Pinterest board looks like. But I really am trying to get clear on my personal style. So I went in this thrift store and I was like, I'm going to find some stuff that is inspired by outfits I've been looking at. So I'm really into just like an interesting pant right now, and specifically like a y2k capri or like some kind of a bloomer style pant, anything like that.
And also, just like every other Pinterest baddie, I am looking for 90s and early 2000s activewear. So let's talk about what I found. I found some striped Adidas capris. And this isn't a typical color, like this dark blue isn't a typical color that I would be attracted to, but the light blue stripe is really doing it for me. And I think this paired with a butter yellow top, I think that's going to be, yeah, yes. That's going to be the cherry on top. But you saw some of this yesterday in my little thrift video. But then there's this little cutie. And I just got two more things. I got this sort of active skirt with a little scrunchy tie situation. And it has a pocket, so I can put a little money in there. So that's really cute. And then I got this. I walked away with these shorts. It's a long short situation. I don't know. I just feel like I want more of like a 90s, 2000s inspired wardrobe, because that is where my heart lies. And that is where my true self wants to be. I woke up at like 7 a.m. naturally, which is not, usually I don't really wake up till 8. But the first thought in my head was like, oh, you should go work at this cafe that I don't go to that often. Like I haven't been in a while. Right when they open with your laptop and work there. Why? I don't know. But I'm going to find out, because I'm just trying to listen more to those little like ding, whatever that is, like, and I'm trying to delineate from my intuition versus my anxiety, because my anxiety is so loud. So I'm trying to like strengthen that muscle of listening to intuitive hits. So we'll let you know if anything happens. Maybe it's just going to make me feel inspired or like better in some way. We'll see. This is my cute breakfast I'm having before I go. Another like ping that I sort of followed recently, I guess. Oh, I need salt and pepper. Hang on. Another ping I followed recently was chopping my hair. And then there was something else. Oh, I just had the feeling that I should start drinking lemon balm tea. So I just got some of that yesterday. This is lemon balm tea. I'm such an investigator, like naturally, and I always want to like find out. I want to find out like how to fix things. I want to find out like what's the remedy, what's the solution. And I do it, and like I do it with people around me too, where they tell me what they're experiencing and I'm like immediately, let me find out what's wrong, or like let me come up with a solution to this. And it's kind of an exhausting habit, and especially when it's maybe not asked for and I just do it anyway. I don't know. And then people don't take the advice when they don't ask for it, and then it's just wasted research on my part, La da di da di da. I got soaked. I didn't expect that. I'm so wet. I just got dumped on. I didn't expect it to rain so much. I thought it was just going to be a little drizzle. But boy, was I wrong. And I was a couple blocks from home.
So this has been a really interesting practice. I have actually found that it's made me so much more creative. And it's made me emotional. And I'm also about to start my period, so, I'm extra emotion. I was listening to, on my walk, I was listening to What It Feels Like to Be a Girl by Madonna. And that song, it just makes me really emotional because of the nostalgic attachment I have. And also because it's not easy being a girl. So this experiment has affected me in some unexpected ways. It made me emotional, both because nostalgia just is emotional. That's just part of it. Like this yearning that can never really be fully satiated. And so there is this element of sadness to it. And I also have felt emotional because I've been listening to a lot of my favorite 90s female artists and musicians. And these women and I've listened to their music in a different way. And I've been experiencing it in a different way. And Tori Amos, Alanis Morissette, Jewel, Fiona Apple, they all have this vulnerability that they so openly express. And they weren't afraid. I mean, maybe they were, but they still shared the fact that they are emotional, sensitive women. And I think that element of vulnerability is so inspiring to me. And I connect so deeply to that. And I imagine that they are women who, and I could probably honestly look back at tabloids around that time, and they were probably women who were criticized and thought to be too much or weird. So, in fact, I know that was true, especially in the 90s. That stuff wasn't really encouraged. So that made me emotional. And I've also found these kind of nostalgic dates with myself to be a key to reigniting my creativity, because I have felt a lot more creatively inspired than I felt in a long time. And if you guys have seen on my Instagram or even on my podcast, I talk about my sparkle quest. And a big part of that quest is trying to get back into my creative flow. And maybe it turns out all I needed to do was fully lean into my intuition, even when it seemed weird, because I didn't know where this was going. But whatever path this is taking me down, I feel like I'm in the flow again. I feel like I have some creative oomph, and I have a little bit of momentum. And so that has been really lovely to experience. And I think I'll continue. I'll probably instate this as is that a word? Reinstate. I'll probably make this a monthly occurrence, like a nostalgia date, where I go and look for some piece of physical media that I loved when I was younger, or I will go thrifting with some, specific sort of 90s vibe, y2k vibe in mind. That was really fun. Or I'll just watch a 90s movie that I love. I mean, I'm a huge fan of 90s rom-coms and stuff like that. So, or just have a night, I was just thinking, I have this collection of Susan Branch cookbooks, and I just want to have a night where I cook something out of a Susan Branch cookbook, and I have ambient lighting, and I listen to an album from the 90s, or I have my laptop in my kitchen and I'm watching a 90s movie as I'm cooking from the Susan Branch cookbook. Just have a 90s night. Maybe that, So yeah, I'm going to call them nostalgia dates, and I'm going to start doing them more because they're reawakening my creativity in a way that is really refreshing. That's all I have for you. And let me know if you enjoyed this, first of all. Second of all, if you didn't enjoy it, don't let me know. Third of all, tell me what 90s music you're listening to. Ooh, comment your favorite 90s song. That I love. Maybe I'll make a playlist or something. Maybe I will do that. I'll make like an ultimate 90s playlist. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. So comment your favorite 90s song and I'll put something together for us. Okay. Sayonara. C'est la vie. Hasta la vista, baby.